I got to say, it's an honor to have you guys on here. Society of Villains, first time on the Local Buzz. Welcome so much to the show. I do a thing every December called the Buzz the Hall series, and it only made sense to have you guys on. I've been playing your stuff. Super big fan of Sam. Now he's got a new band. I got to know, how did this come to be? Because you guys are all established artists in your own right. You do your own thing. And so how did this happen to where you guys started a band? How did Society of Villains come to be?
Yeah, I mean, I met the two guys just writing for my last record, and they were working with a bunch of my friends. And honestly, I learned pretty quickly on that they had worked on some records that I am obsessed with, like Bishop Briggs, some of her early stuff, and some of the early Dorothy stuff that I had been hearing. And like, who produced this? Who did this? Who wrote this? And it was so good. And so when we all finally got together, it was so cool that like the chemistry just clicked, because sometimes you're like a fan of somebody from afar, but when you get together, the music making isn't great, it isn't the right combination. But the moment we all got together, we had such equal but different leanings that it just made it crazy. We just did some crazy music, and I was like, we have to do something with this. So that was part of it.
That's awesome. And the name, I have to point out, the name I think is really ironic because obviously I know Sam very well, and I've only talked to you guys a little bit, but you seem like very likable dudes. So the name being Society of Villains is kind of ironic. Why the name? Maybe you guys have a dark side I'm not aware of. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think we all have a dark side.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think part of it too is kind of an inside joke. And, I think you live long enough as the hero, you eventually become the villain,
That's true. Truer statement. And you guys are kind of doing this, like kind of flying stuff, I guess email and stuff back and forth. Like back in the day, remember how the Postal Service was the first band that I was ever aware of that did the whole, like I remember being a young guy in a band and we heard about the Postal Service and they were living in separate spots and they were mailing songs to each other. So you guys are kind of new version of that. How's it work being a band that lives in two separate cities?
I mean, with technology, I think it's totally possible and it's amazing. And, we have ideas, but we try to get together, every month or so to write and record. And it's been like working great. I think it's just once you catch a vibe with people that you're really creative with and you have the same story and just kind of the same musical taste, it's really easy. And we all add something. So it's been really exciting.
That's awesome. Any live shows yet? Has Society of Villains played shows yet? Or are you guys just kind of getting the albums out or getting the songs out? Maybe some live shows in the future?
I definitely see live shows in the future for sure. I mean, I think right now though too, it's like having an EP. We only have 4 songs, so it would be a very short set.
It'd be an awesome set though, an awesome set.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Wasn't it the White Stripes years ago did that fake show? Do you guys remember seeing that? It was like they called it like the One Note Tour, and so they pulled out some show and they came on stage and just did like a burp and then walked off the stage. That'd be what it'd be like. That it'd be perfect.
It's drama, man. Drama, villain drama.
Totally. Goes viral like that. Well, the brand new single just dropped. It's called "Evil Is My Middle Name," and I got to give you guys credit for releasing a Halloween-esque song in the Christmas season. You guys have it's got a cool vibe to it. I like it. Tell me something about the tune.
You can go, Sam.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think oftentimes we kind of like don't lean into that darker side of feelings. And it was just kind of like when we were writing it, it just felt like a warning. It was like, some days you wake up and you're on the wrong side of the bed and you're like, you know what, today evil is my middle name. Like, don't mess with me. Don't come near me. Like, I don't want any of this. So I feel like there's a bit of that when we were writing it. It's just like the pre-chorus is just run when you see me coming, because it's like, I'm not Mr. Nice Guy today. Like, evil's my middle name. And so I think that's what it feels like for me, but the other guys can chip in.
Yeah, I think we're taking a little power and a little move into the darker side. And, it's sometimes cool to tap into that. And, it's being a villain once in a while isn't a bad thing. So I think that's what the song's all about. Everybody needs a little villainy in their life.
I love that. What do you think, Mark? I think Mark has the most villain look right now because of that beat. It's amazing. You are the villain of the group.
He's like, girl.
Yeah.
They kind of summed it up. It's like, sometimes you just wake up and you're just like, today is not the day.
I love that.
I'm feeling evil. So I think everybody can relate to that.
I love that. And I got to say, I think it's cool that you guys talk about things like this, like embracing the dark side and things, because I feel like there's a movement these days, the last couple of years, especially in music, where people will send me some songs and I might be like, oh, I don't really dig it. And I've been told many times, oh, he's the nicest guy. And I'm always like, I'm not trying to hang out with him. I just want to hear a good song. So I like the idea of embracing the darkness, in my opinion. But boys, since you're here, obviously Sam's no stranger to the show, but you guys are new to this. We got to play something called the 5 random question game if you guys would like to play, shall we?
Let's do it.
It's hard, but I'm down.
Okay.
He's got some notes.
I'm afraid.
5 random questions, Society of Villains of the Local Buzz. No wrong answers, no right answers either necessarily. Question number 1. What is your favorite Christmas movie villain?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Probably the guys in Home Alone.
I was just thinking that. I was definitely thinking that. That's a
great answer. That is a great answer.
The Grinch. Me, I got to be the Grinch.
Ooh.
The Grinch is like the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the villain going good guy at the end.
Exactly. Jim Carrey is the Grinch for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Grinch is the likable villain. I'm always down for the likable villains, that you love more than the heroes, that you're on the other side rooting for them,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great twist. Well, speaking of Home Alone, question number 2 with Society of Villains on the Local Buzz. What is the best version of Home Alone? 1, 2, or 3?
1 has to be 1.
I really like the one in New York, so I think that's 2, right?
Yeah, it's Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
But
like, how does he keep getting lost?
Yeah,
Again? Come on.
Yeah, somebody needs to talk to these parents for sure.
Yeah, I think services need to get involved.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Home Alone 2 a lot as well, and it's funny you bring that up, Sam, because I was a big fan of the Talk Boy that he has in the movie.
Yes, Talk Boy.
And I saw a thing recently that came out in 1992, and I saw a thing that was talking about how that was actually a toy they made for the movie that was not a real toy. But this article said the demand was so high after the movie they made it a real toy. But it was 1992. How did those kids reach those people to make those demands? You couldn't tweet about it back then. I guess they wrote letters.
True. Crayon letters, letters with crayons.
Real.
Give us Talk Boy.
It was so sick though. It was like the first sampler. You could put in a little bit and change your voice.
It was just
very cool.
It was so much cooler in so many ways. Question number 3 on the Local Buzz of Society of Villains. I know you guys, at least on your own, have done collaborations. Who's your dream collaborator with this band? If you could collab anybody with Society of Villains, who would it be?
I'd have to say Hosier would be sick for this band.
That would be sick.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm always shooting for the stars here. Trent Reznor for me would be tip top.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I could see that.
Real good one, man. Ooh.
What do you think, Mark?
Oh, man. I'm running through stuff in my head.
I think you got to bring the metal, Mark.
I was just thinking the same thing. You got to bring the metal.
I was thinking Black Sabbath, but
yes,
it's a little late. It's a little late for that, but we can go back in time.
Yeah,
Ozzy's still there. He might be ready.
Got a couple years left.
Yeah.
There you go. I would download all 3 of those singles, guys. That'd be amazing. Question number 4, Society of Villains on the Local Buzz. So I know you guys aren't from Nashville, but Sam might know this. But last year they reopened an FYE store. Remember those?
Yeah.
They opened one up at the Opry Mills Mall, and it was super nostalgic, super rad. It was like a CD store in the mall again, like the 90s. Well, it didn't last. They closed it, and they opened up a toy train store. I guess that's more valuable than FYE, which says a lot about the music industry these days. But I wanted to ask you, if you could go back and put any store from the past in that spot tomorrow, what would it be?
Man, probably, honestly, I put a Blockbuster in that crap. I miss Blockbuster, even though like my girlfriend would take my card and use it and then forget to bring stuff back, and I'd have to pay for the late fees. Blockbuster was amazing. Like just walking through, seeing all the covers and like picking one out,
Yeah,
dude.
Tower Records. That was it for me.
Oh, yeah. Tower.
Oh, Tower.
I would do a Warehouse.
Warehouse music?
Yeah.
Oh,
Warehouse music, man. That was like, I have so many memories just picking out my favorite songs and CDs and tapes, and it's just the best. There's nothing like going to a store and picking out your music and seeing all the covers, man. It's the best feeling in the world. It's just the best feeling.
And having to go find it, to go search for it. We had to
search for it. Just like pick through. It's the best feeling in the world.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was like $30 for a CD. It was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
For sure. 100%.
Part of the experience.
Yeah, it really
absolutely.
was. The final question number 5 was Society of Villains on the local bus. So there comes a point in a lot of people's careers, it seems, a lot of bands' careers, artists' careers, where I'm sure you've noticed this trend where they're kind of on the way down and their manager comes to them and says, hey, so look, things aren't going well. It's probably over. It's time for you to do a Christmas record. We're talking full-blown Society of Villains is Mr. Christmas. So if you guys get to that point and your manager comes to you and says, guys, it's over. You got to do a Christmas record like Michael Bublé did, or it's over. So do you do the Christmas record or do you die with dignity?
I think we bounce, die with dignity.
Yeah,
for sure.
die with dignity for sure.
We're going down.
You know my answer. You know my answer, Andy.
Spoken like a bunch of true villains. Well done. Well, thanks for playing, boys. You guys passed, right? I wanted to see if you guys were cool, and you definitely are. So it works out great.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No, of course. It's been great having you guys on Society of Villains. What's it looking like for 2024? You guys got anything planned? I know you guys have separate projects, but anything on the books for 2024? Which is crazy to think we're already talking about that. It feels
insane.
Totally
insane.
Yeah, we've got another couple singles that lead into an EP. So, I think the full project will be out by March of next year. So it's pretty exciting. We've got one of my favorite songs, I think, is going to be the last one for the EP. And it's just these boys, they put in some insane sounds on that record that sound just like otherworldly, like you're listening to it. And I haven't heard anything like it. So I'm really excited to put that one out.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to hear it, boys. I'm super pumped.
Awesome.
When you guys are in Nashville sometime, we'll all hang out together in the actual
Love it.
and it'll be great. We'll go check out this now. Evil is my middle name. Society of Villains, open door policy for bands I like. You're definitely one of those bands. Thanks for coming by, boys.
Thank you so much, man.